Hello, I'm Inbal Goldberger. I'm the VP of Trust and Safety at ActiveFence. And today we're going to speak about intelligence and how it plays into content moderation. Now, this video is part of your content moderation module, and we will speak about how intelligence helps online platforms do their content moderation better. So I'm sure that by now you already know a lot about content moderation. And this is the process of reviewing content and deciding whether or not it violates platform's policy. And when we talk about content moderation, you probably know that we don't talk just about content, but also about behavior and actors that we can moderate. So, for example, content can be hate speech or misinformation, behavior could be spam or grooming, and actors could be just bad people that were banned from the platform and find ways to come back. So all of these we can moderate. And intelligence, or threat intelligence, looks at all of these components. So content, behavior, and actors that we can gather information about and help us gain more wisdom about their intentions. So let's jump in. So to illustrate where intelligence plays a role in content moderation or in trust and safety, I want to talk about the trust and safety life cycle. And this will help us to kind of position intelligence inside this cycle. So how does the cycle looks like? So we start with the creation of a product. Okay, it could be big or small, like a whole platform or just a feature. And with this product, we develop a policy, that is the rules of the road that dictate what is allowed or not allowed on the platform. Now, how trust and safety plays a role into creation of product. A good trust and safety team helps to embed safety mechanisms into the product that help us catch violative content on time. So, for example, reporting mechanisms or classifiers, block lists, safety preferences, anything that helps us secure our users. And policy, as you know, it dictates the kind of rules of the road. Then we move to the next stage, which is detection. We use any mechanism to flag violative content by monitoring or user reporting or classifiers, anything that can raise a flag over harmful content. Then harm is detected, whether manually or automatically, and then we move to the enforcement phase. Flag content can be removed or demoted or demonetized or any other enforcement method, or it might well not be enforced against. For example, if some content was flagged, but actually it didn't violate any policy. And then the last stage is the analysis stage. We look back at all the cases of harmful content that we detected or did not detected and ask ourselves questions like, did we catch these harmful content fast enough? Could we prevent this harm from happening? If we caught harmful content and we didn't remove it, what was the reason? So we ask ourselves these questions, and with the insights that we gather from answering these questions, we improve either the product, so we can make it even safer, so to improve the safety mechanisms, or we improve the policy. So if we realize, for example, that the policy didn't catch some cases, maybe the policy is too narrow or maybe is too wide, so we can change it so it's better and can catch harmful content next time. Now, I'll add a small teaser. At this stage of analysis, sometimes you kind of catch yourself and say, oh, I wish I knew that somewhere in the world there was a social unrest that can become violent, or there was an election planned, or I wish these terrorists, I wish I knew these terrorists are using this slang for these terms. So all of these kind of little knowledge pieces that you didn't know on time, if you had known them in advance, you might have been able to remove or catch the harm on time. So that's just a teaser for why intelligence is important. Now, I hope you got the cycle of trust and safety, and just to illustrate it very quickly how it looks in real life. So let's say you have a platform and then you come across this kind of user-generated content. Now, this is quite straightforward. Most safety mechanisms kind of catch this on time and enforce against it because it's hate. If for some reason it wasn't caught, it's quite easy to add the combination of hate and protected group and make this sentence be enforced against next time. So the catching the harm was easy, we enforced against it. Most probably we don't have to improve the policy or the product, and if yes, we will do so. So we removed it. What about this? Now, your human eye can catch this very quickly, but a machine may miss this. So if you didn't train your algorithms on lead speech, which is replacing letters with special characters, you may miss this, and you will see abuse flooding your platform. So in the cycle of trust and safety, you didn't catch it on time, it went unnoticed, harm have happened, but then in the analysis part, you say, oh, I need my algorithm to deal better with lead speech, and you improve your product. And next time, you will catch it on time. What about this? If you didn't know that you can say other hate terms in more ways, like using emojis, it could have been that this sentence would slip through and the harm would spread on your platform. So again, to catch things on time, you need to have some heads up. So in this case, you would probably add to your classifiers or your algorithms ability to analyze emojis. So again, we completed a full cycle. And this is how the cycle goes on, and why it's not just a cycle that ends in improving the policy, because every time you improve your policy or you improve your product and you think, that's it, no abuse on my platform anymore, someone will find a way to find a creative way to abuse your platform, and you'll find yourself dealing with harm that's slipped through the cracks. Okay, so now this was just an illustration of the life cycle. Now let's try to make decisions on real content. So imagine you are the content moderator, and let's see what we decide on this. Now, we will start easy, but we will demonstrate how sophisticated it might be. So what about this? Perfect example of a land whale. Quite straightforward, hate, most people will say, let's remove it. What about this? A post saying, we should get rid of all women's sports and have one giant women's Olympics that have sandwich making, laundry, and bad driving competitions. Let's err on the side of misogyny and say this is not okay on our platform, and we will remove it. What about this? A cap, a hoodie, up for sale on a digital marketplace. Is it okay? Is it not? Without further context, you would probably say, I don't know, like, what's this logo? Who's behind it? Like, I need more information. And you're right, because without further context, most people will decide to keep it on. But in March 2019, the US Department of State deemed Al Hayat as an alias of the Islamic State, and thus a foreign terrorist organization. And with that, putting their merchandise up for sale in marketplaces is prohibited. So had you known this, you would be much easier making a decision about not keeping this listing on the marketplace. So why I am telling you that? Because it shows that to make informed decisions about content moderation, you need to have two types of knowledge. One, who your bad actors are and anything about them, the logos, their names, where they are, what language they speak. And two, their means and methods and how they can really exploit online platforms to promote their agenda. Now, during the time that we kind of thought, is it okay or not okay to keep these products, a few bad things could have happened. One, a user could catch these products and say, this is a disgrace, you are putting up for sale like terrorist merchandise, we should ban your platform. And this post can get viral and damage your reputation. Or a reporter could pick this up and write an article about how you help funding terrorism, and now you're being asked to comment on it. Or you can be found as not compliant with some laws that say that you cannot spread terrorist content online. For example, the TEREG, the EU regulation about dissemination of terrorist content. So all of this happened because it took us too much time between, the detection of harmful content and the enforcement. Now, in real life, we have three types of harms associated with bad content moderation decisions. One is user harm, the second is reputational damage, and the third is regulatory non-compliance. And we all know how it looks like. Headlines like hate speech on rise in Twitter, or TikTok search engine delivers misinformation. So all of these damage your reputation. We also have seen regulators that post online that platforms should be compliant with regulations. So we have seen Thierry Breton from the European Commission kind of telling Elon Musk, in Europe, Twitter will have to comply with our rules. What I'm going to propose here is a shortcut that can reduce the time between detection of harmful content and enforcement. And the shortcut is intelligence. Now, we saw that to make really good informed decisions, we need to have more context and more knowledge. Now, intelligence can help us with two aspects. One, to have subject matter experts that are experts in specific domains like terrorism, geopolitics, child safety, and they know the ins and outs of this domain. And the second is to gain visibility into the source of chatter of bad actors, where they share their tactics and their techniques and their procedures, and where they coordinate attacks, so that you gain more visibility into their bad intentions. Now, as any intelligence officer knows, and I know because I've been one, is that the more you expand your visibility remit, the better, because you get closer to the source of evil and you can protect yourself in time. So this is the idea of intelligence in trust and safety. And now a few examples of intelligence that can help online platforms protect themselves on time. Now, if your stomach is as sensitive as mine, please don't read the text on the screen. I'll just elaborate on this, okay? So the first example shows how child predators are exploiting online games to store child sexual abuse material, CSAM, without being caught. So what they do, they create this kind of private bubbles inside games, and they upload their images to these private bubbles, okay? Now, gaming platforms don't necessarily know that behind user-generated doors, harmful content or CSAM can be found. With this intelligence, knowing how child predators are behaving, they can know where to look, and they can find it where usually they wouldn't even look. The second example is from the dating industry. So again, in the child safety space, it shows how child predators are targeting single moms on dating platforms to get in touch with their kids. Now, this kind of intel can help platforms make decisions like what personal information they should, keep open to the public and what they should hide. The third example is from the hate space. It shows a planning of a coordinated attack against LGBTQ forum, including harassment of its members and disseminating harmful imagery. Now, in this charter, and it was a very long charter where they planned exactly the dates and the tactics and the images they're going to share on the day to kind of plan this digital raid. If caught on time and given as a heads up to the platform could have secured itself and the users. And the last example is of an underground Russian marketplace that offers accounts for sale. So these accounts are in popular online platforms. I blurred the icons not to shame anyone. And these accounts were created specifically for non-legitimate use. Now, these are not compromised accounts or hijacked accounts. These are accounts that were built for the purpose of disseminating misinformation or malware campaigns or ad frauds. Now, in the description, if you don't read Russian, you see some login parameters like how old the account is, any other parameters like email address, date of birth, if the account passed any verification on the platform. So, the better and more valid looking account is, the pricier it is, because no one will suspect that this account may use for a non-legit behavior. Now, this list of accounts, again, can be given to platforms, and then they can just ban these accounts ahead of time before they get on their platform and start disseminating bad content or anything else bad. And lastly, the idea with intelligence, and this is the takeaway from this short video, is to gain visibility into data sources outside of your platform, where you can learn about the intentions of bad actors and their tactics, which gives you enough time to protect the platform. Or you get all this knowledge and you get more context to make informed decisions about content moderation. So from the slang they use or the terminology or the logo they use, you get them ahead of time. And this discipline of intelligence really gives you the heads up to be able to protect your users. So this is it. Thank you. And I hope that the rest of the course will be great.